Donna Reed was born in Denison, Iowa, on January 27, 1921, is birth name Donna Bell Mullinger. She was raised as the oldest of 5 children in a modest agricultural family in the Midwest. The authenticity and tenderness that viewers grew to love in her on-screen personas were eventually rooted in her early existence in small-town America. In spite of her modest background, Reed had a strong will to succeed. When she first enrolled at Los Angeles City College in California after graduating from Denison High School, her goal was to become a teacher. But when talent scouts noticed her extraordinary beauty and grace, her life's course was irrevocably changed. Her foray into Hollywood coincided with the height of the studio system, and among the flood of eager starlets, she stood out due to her unique blend of grace, intelligence, and natural appeal. In the early 1940s, she secured a deal with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and started making supporting appearances right away. During her early film roles in The Getaway, 1941, The Courtship of Andy Hardy, 1942, and The Picture of Dorian Gray, 1945, she demonstrated her ability to give her characters a quiet power and emotional honesty. She would, however, be remembered for centuries to come for her portrayal of Mary Bailey in Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life, which was released in 1946. Reed's portrayal of Mary, the devoted, tenacious, and loving wife of James Stewart's character George Bailey, became one of the most cherished roles in film history. She transformed what should have been a supporting role into the emotional focal point of one of the most memorable films ever filmed with her dazzling warmth and authenticity. During the 1950s, Donna Reed maintained her reputation as a respected and multifaceted actress. During this time, she played prominent roles in the 1953 film From Here to Eternity, for which she received the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Her depiction as Lorraine Burke, a nightclub waitress with a terrible backstory, revealed a bold and unfiltered side of Reed that shocked both audiences and critics. It was a sharp contrast to her innocent persona and demonstrated her range and depth as a dramatic actress. Her reputation among Hollywood's elite was cemented by her performance, which also brought her critical accolades. She kept making appearances in films like They Were Expendable, 1945, and The Last Time I Saw Paris, 1954, collaborating with many of the best directors and actors of the time. But Donna Reed had a huge impact outside of the movie industry. She made the move to television in 1958, where she developed and starred in The Donna Reed Show, which aired for 8 seasons until 1966. A staple of early television programming, the series portrayed the idealized yet realistic lives of a suburban American family. Reed's portrayal of Donna Stone embodied the ideal of the contemporary, perceptive, and caring mother and wife. During a period when family-oriented programming predominated on television, this figure struck a chord with millions of people. One of the first women in Hollywood to have creative control over her own series, Reed was also a trailblazer behind the scenes as a producer on the program. For upcoming generations of women in the entertainment industry, her leadership in this area created opportunities. In addition to her acting accomplishments, Donna Reed had a strong commitment to social activity and her own beliefs. She had a reputation for being wise, kind, and morally upright. Reed, who co-founded Another Mother for Peace, an organization that aimed to put an end to the war and advance peaceful solutions, became a strong voice for peace throughout the Vietnam War. She showed a part of herself through her advocacy that many people did not witness on screen. A woman with a strong passion for justice and humanity who spoke up using her celebrity and power. The integrity that characterized her personal and professional lives was mirrored in her commitment to family, community, and social concerns. Donna Reed married William Tuttle, a gifted makeup artist who would go on to become a well-respected employee at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, from 1943 to 1945. When they got married, Hollywood was a place of splendor and national pride during the height of World War II. Tuttle's backstage labor complemented Reed's on-screen success, as she was quickly emerging as one of MGM's most promising young actors. But their marriage didn't last long. Their relationship was negatively impacted by the demanding schedules, long workdays, and demands of the entertainment industry. After only 2 years of dating, Reed and Tuttle got divorced in 1945. They apparently divorced amicably despite their brief marriage. and both went on to succeed in their own fields. Tuttle was a well-known makeup artist who would eventually receive an honorary Oscar for his work, and Reed was an actor. When Donna Reed met and married producer Tony Owen in 1945, her life changed after the divorce. In addition to Reed's talent, Owen, a dynamic and driven individual, also acknowledged her brains and willpower. They quickly developed a personal and professional relationship. Together, they established a busy home and managed the turbulent Hollywood industry. Notwithstanding the rigors of the entertainment business, the couple maintained a loving, close-knit family environment while raising 4 children, 2 adopted and 2 biological. Both of their earliest children, Anthony, born in 1946, and Penny Jane, born in 1945, were adopted soon after birth. Reed's nurturing personality and enduring concern for children were reflected in the adoption, which fulfilled Reed and Owen's strong desire to give a loving home. Reed juggled parenthood with incredible grace while her cinematic career flourished. She gave birth to their youngest child, Mary, and, in 1957, after giving birth to Timothy, their first biological son, in 1949. Throughout these years, Reed was able to strike an unusual balance between her successful job and her family life. She gained recognition from her friends and co-workers as a loving mother who frequently prioritized her family over her personal notoriety. Even though she was one of Hollywood's most well-known figures, she maintained her groundedness by regularly hosting family dinners, going to school events, and personally catering to her kids' needs. She frequently gave credit to her husband, Tony Owen, for encouraging and supporting her acting career, and her family served as her haven. However, their marriage started to show signs of weakness as the years went by. Their relationship was affected by the sometimes unforgiving nature of the entertainment industry and Owen's producer profession, which frequently required extended absences and late nights. Much had changed in Reed's life by the late 1960s. The Donna Reed Show, which lasted from 1958 to 1966 and earned her both recognition and an Emmy Award, had made her a household figure. However, their marriage started to suffer behind the scenes as a result of the demands of celebrity life and shifting personal priorities. In 1971, Owen and his partner ended their 26-year relationship. Although it was a painful but respectable breakup, Reed remained friendly with Owen for the benefit of their kids. In 1974, 3 years later, Donna Reed fell in love once more when she wed Grover W. Asmus, a retired colonel in the U.S. Army. With their union, Reed's life entered a new phase of stability and tranquility. Being outside of the entertainment industry, Asmus's disciplined and grounded manner provided Reed with a refreshing contrast to the fast-paced Hollywood setting she had been accustomed to for decades. A tranquil, happy existence was established for the couple, who frequently divided their time between their Beverly Hills home and Los Angeles. Family and friends characterized their relationship as a genuine partnership based on respect, camaraderie, and shared ideals, one that is intensely loving and supportive of one another. When Donna Reed accepted the role opposite Stewart Granger in the British mystery film The Whole Truth in 1958, she anticipated a professional encounter characterized by respect for one another and the customary etiquette of seasoned actors. Instead, she found herself in one of the most disagreeable professional relationships of her career. Known for her professionalism, discipline, and grace on set, Reed found herself at odds with Granger, whose conceit and bloated ego made him, in her opinion, intolerable. She later acknowledged that Stewart Granger was the only man in Hollywood she had ever worked with when asked about her experiences with different co-stars. She really did despise more than anyone. Reed, who rarely talked poorly of others, said those startling remarks, but they betrayed her intense annoyance and contempt for the British leading man. From the very first day of filming, the two stars' tension was apparent during the production of The Whole Truth. Granger, known for his challenging demeanor, seems to take pleasure in controlling his co-stars. And Reed was no different. His caustic tongue and arrogance were well known, and he frequently brushed her ideas aside, interrupted her during rehearsals, and even made fun of her American sensibilities. For Donna, whose career had been based on intelligence and grace, his actions were unbearable. She remarked that he was conceited, haughty, and conceited. Everyone around him was viewed as inferior by him. and I was unable to tolerate it. A lengthy string of patronizing actions and disparaging comments that transformed what ought to have been a professional cooperation into an emotional torture were the root cause of her hatred rather than a single occurrence. Their personalities were so different that Reed disliked them even more. She had long been respected for her quiet strength, her Midwestern manners, and her honesty. She was from Denison, Iowa, and loved collaboration and humility, two things Granger seemed to completely lack. Granger, on the other hand, was a product of the British film elite. He had the self-assurance of an aristocrat and frequently denigrated American actors, particularly women, since he thought they lacked the sophistication of their European predecessors. He was unforgivably condescending to Reed. At one point, she joked, he believed he was God's gift to the movies. He was just a hot air-filled dude, though. She wasn't alone in feeling this way. Members of the crew even discussed his conduct in private, supporting Reed, who in spite of her ire remained professional and gave a faultless performance. On the full truth, the atmosphere at work became more poisonous. There was underlying tension in Reed and Granger's scenes that occasionally showed through the screen. Their chemistry was uncomfortable, brittle, and chilly. In no way did the creators envision a romantic spark. Off camera, Reed frequently stayed away from Granger in favor of hanging out with the director or other actors. According to her acquaintances, she dreaded every day's filming because she knew she would have to show him the footage. I tallied the days until the end of filming, she subsequently said. I've never been more pleased with a film's completion. Although such an admission was uncommon from a woman of Reed's control, it showed how much she hated Granger. She was upset by his total lack of civility towards others, not simply by his haughtiness. It was said that Granger argued with the director and spoke down to help. As though they were invisible, they disregarded technical staff. The manner he had behaved disgusted Reed, who had always been polite to all the crew. She said he had no regard for anyone. Not for the crew, not for his fellow performers, and not for the director. He probably didn't even respect himself. His exaggerated ego and her moral integrity clashed, symbolizing two completely different universes. The aristocratic conceit that Granger possessed in contrast to the modest American goodness that Reed represented. Donna Reed's recollections of her collaboration with Stewart Granger remained resentful even years after the publication of The Whole Truth. She later achieved enormous success on television with The Donna Reed Show, where her warmth and genuineness won over viewers, but she never forgot the agony of that specific movie shoot. I took away one crucial lesson. Later, she thought, charm should never be confused with character. Granger, whose dapper facade had long led Hollywood to believe he was a gentleman, was the obvious target of that oblique remark. Behind the camera, he had shown himself to be anything but. Reed's intense response to Granger remained fascinating to fans and film historians in the decades that followed. The fact that a woman as kind as Donna Reed publicly expressed her disdain for a co-star was a testament to how awful the experience must have been. Despite his attractive appearance on TV, Stewart Granger was to Donna Reed everything she detested: brutality, conceit, and vanity masquerading as charm. She used to say, "I could work with anybody. However, not with a man who thinks he's superior to everyone else." Stewart Granger was the only person in Hollywood who, in her opinion, went too far, and she never forgiven him for it. At the age of 64, Reed passed away in Beverly Hills, California, on January 14, 1986, from pancreatic cancer. 3 months prior, the condition had been identified and she was informed that it was deadly. In Los Angeles, her remains are buried at the Pierce Brothers Westwood Village Memorial Park and Mortuary.